Slager for being the new Norco Horsemen Association president. Congratulations. And now we're going to move on to our Eagle Scout candidate, Ryan Hoskins. Come on aboard. His project was Leave No Trace. Tell us about it.
Okay, so for my Eagle project, hello, my name is Ryan Hoskins, and I'm a Life Scout in Troop 4 of Menifee, California. And for my Eagle Scout project, I decided to do Leave No Trace shadow boxes. And I first got the idea when I was in Alaska hiking with my family, and they had a sign that stated different pieces of trash and things that they find on the trail and how long it takes to decompose, and that it was a really big problem there. And so I decided to bring that down here to California, and I picked Norco for my project because Norco is along the Santa Ana riverbed, and it is the main watershed area for where we live, and all the trash in the area will flow out to the ocean. So I put some Leave No Trace shadow boxes at different trailhead points that go down to the Santa Ana riverbed to stop people from living. So this is what it says on the sign that's inside the shadow box. So it says, leave no trace of your visit when enjoying nature and the great outdoors. And it says life expectancies for different kinds of litter. So paper is 2 to 4 weeks. A hard plastic container like a water bottle is 20 to 30 years. Aluminum cans are 200 to 400 years. And glass or a glass bottle, it could be thousands or millions of years to take to decompose. So I put shadow boxes at 3 different places in Norco. So I put one at the Cordown staging area that goes down one of the horse trails. I put one at the George Ingalls Equestrian Event Center. And I put one at the trailhead that leads down to the Santa Ana River at Pedley Avenue. So this is the Cordown staging area. So this is my first one that I did. This is at George Ingalls Equestrian Event Center. And this is the one at Pedley Avenue. So the goal was to protect the watershed area. So the process I had to do is I had to gain approval from the city and then build the shadow boxes, install them, and while I was on site I noticed that there was a horse trail that needed, it kind of was like rocky and it was a big step down for the horses, so they made a different trail to go around it. So I used some of the dirt that I had to fix the trail. We also did a big trash, Leave No Trace pickup trash project at all 3 of the locations. So for my preparation, I had to build all the boxes myself at my house. So this is just me, the different steps of what I had to do to put the boxes together. So we installed the boxes this summer. And my troop came and assisted me in the project. So this was on site. So first what we had to do is we had to drill the 2 holes for it and bring the shadow boxes out, and we put the shadow box in the hole and then added cement and mixed up the cement in the holes and then put dirt back over it. So that was us drilling the holes. And then we had to cement, to level it, cement it, and tamp it down. So this was the horse trail that I was talking about. So it was a big step down and all the horses were going around on the opposite side. So this was the trail that was originally there and they were coming down over here on the side. And that was the step off. And I saw actually people on horses coming down and they didn't want to use that trail because they didn't want their horses to like break an ankle. So, and then this is some people that came by while I was doing my project. And then this was the big trash pickup that we did. So this is at Pedley Avenue, and there was a lot of trash right in that little cul-de-sac area. So we went around and picked up all the trash in the bushes and disposed of it. So while I was there, some more people stopped by and read the signs before they went down. And then I have special thanks to Mr. Brian Petrie for helping me a lot with my project, Mr. Hank Cope Mr. Third Opinions, who told me to that they had a problem here with the trash and to get me to come do it here, and also Mr. James or Jim Trolio for helping me dig the holes with his auger. That's it.
So do you want the good news or the bad news? The good news is you're an Eagle Scout. The bad news is you're an Eagle Scout for the rest of your life. Which means that everyone is going to look to you for leadership. So without further ado, I want to congratulate you, Ryan Hosking, recognition of his outstanding accomplishment in pursuit of the distinguished rank of Eagle Scout, the highest award a Boy Scout can achieve, from the Norco City Council. Congratulations. Again, thanks for bearing with us. This next one I'm really excited about. You know, Norco has so many diversified things going on, and so I'm very proud. I mean, we got soccer, softball, equestrian, we got everything, skateboarding. We also have our own Norco robotics team, 2015 Trash Trek project. They're going to come and tell us about it for the first LEGO League.
Hello, my name is Wendy Bed, and I would like to introduce you to our first LEGO League robotics team, number 4425. And our LEGO engineers go on. We have actually been a team in Norco for 2 years, and this year we won in the Inland Empire, and we're going on to represent Norco in Legoland next weekend. Build their own robot, and they have completed a challenge, and I have more information when they're done telling you about it if you would like to see me later. And here I will have them present.
Living here sometimes. I'm a Lego. We want to engineer and live our lives. Saying Ayo. I'm a Lego. We're gonna rock this spot. You'll all agree. We're gonna light it up with our EV3. Cause we told you once, now we told you twice. Just like on TV with our EV3. Cause what we discovered is more important than what we win.
Permission to approach, absolutely. What's your name? Haley. Hi, Haley.
A better way to recycle food scraps and green waste or horse manure by LEGO engineers go on. The first LEGO League team is team number 4425. Now, we pay to have our green waste and our horse manure to be hauled away. That's money coming down my wallet. So we take our food can see, our solution comes to a complete circle, but wait, there's a lot more. So we get our fleet scraps of waste that goes to water, and we
Just solve on the water problem.
guess what? We get a bonus, methane. Why is methane so awesome? Well, methane can produce electrical power, heat, and if it's clean enough, we can use it for biofuel too. Used in trucks or cars, and when it exhausts, it will exhaust clean carbon dioxide, and it will be great for the environment. How do we know this it'll work? Because we went through that try period. And so they bought a 4,688 green acre farm. In 2004, they shipped 245,000 pounds of fertilizer to this farm. 80% of Hyperion's power was from methane. I think that's this guy's. We get a bonus methane. We can generate electrical power. We get compost and fertilizer, which is farm chemical, food and greenery, and process. There are YouTube videos on how to make your own animal digester or ghetto-sized one. And if you would like to purchase one, they are from $150 to $10,000 to several $100,000 for a very large or for whatever size work. Now, a lot of cities, entire cities actually, in certain states such as Colorado and Ohio, Florida, and New York, they are just powered by cow manure. And they also have their methane, their biofuel to help power their buses for better for the environment. So we had resources to Hyperion, interviewed with scientists at Hyperion, we read books, we got stuff on the internet like YouTube, Wikipedia, and many other pages. All detailed in our resource presented in our trash truck project at Road Academy. And that is it.
So now how does what he's holding in his hand relate to what you guys just presented?
Okay, so
In fact, you know, there's a microphone right over there. I'm feeling kind of bad that maybe people aren't hearing this, so speak into the microphone.
Okay, so each year we are given a project, and there's many like obstacles, and we have to create this project on how to do it better. So that was our project, and then this is our robot that we've designed to do the task.
Does it eat people?
No.
Oh, because I saw the little jaw thing happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what exactly are you guys going to be doing at this competition in the next few days?
competition is going to be
You actually don't need one.
Our competition basically is going to have our robot do the obstacles that are on the board that we have to basically do. And then we will be judged on our project, on our core values, and our robot design as a competition.
Who's the lady standing next to the wall?
Oh, there she is. I'm sorry. Your eyes on me. So do you have something you want to say?
I'm just super proud of these kids on the work that they do. They spend 3 more times a week out of my house, and we found a solution to the problem that included Norco. And they even designed on their shirts, you guys should turn around. Their logo has a horse, a cyborg horse on it, because we represent Norco.
So on behalf of the Norco City Council, now, we were told to sort of just give certificates to the 4 of you here, but we're not going to do that. I take it as Victoria Ning here. All right, give that to her. Sharon Azariah. All right, that's okay. Zachary, that's you? Really? You sure? You kind of were hesitant there, buddy. Congratulations from the City Council. Haley, you got a future. There you go. Nathan Hand, hey buddy, there you go. Straighten your tie. Chase Webb, there you go. Nice hat, buddy. And there was one other member who is Shadow Ryan, who wasn't really a member, who just sort of shadows you. Oh yeah, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, our engineers of the future. Turns out Dad's a Marine. He could have beat me up after calling him Miss.
No.
All right, moving on to City Council business, communications reports. Anything, Berwin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, was out at vector control today, and the cool weather and everything that's been on for the last 3 or 4 weeks, the threat of West Nile has slowed down considerably. Although the mosquitoes are not moving around and breeding as much as they have been. On a sad note, remember me telling you about the yellow fever mosquito that came into California and that had that carried several different diseases. One of them, the dengue fever. Well, I got an email from where I graduated from high school today. One of the classmates, he's been a missionary in Malaya for several years, and he passed away yesterday with dengue fever. Got it from over there, so it's a real deadly disease, and it is here. And the yellow fever mosquito is here in California and everything. But moving on, our CTC, sometime this month, the Paris Valley line is going to start up. That's a train that runs from South Paris to a station over in Riverside where they can make connection with bus or trains going to LA or Orange County or South Orange County, wherever they want to go. They've been running a test on it for the last 3 weeks to alert people along the track that the train's going to be coming, because people do walk out in front of them or drive out in front of them. But they predict this will take 4,000 cars a day off of the freeways. And they expect it to be really big. I'm going to go to that grand opening or ribbon cutting when they have it. And I'll keep you posted when it is. And RTA, we voted several months ago to add more buses to the fleet, new buses. And we voted today at the Finance Committee meeting to go ahead and approve the money and get them ordered, because RTA, the ridership, is just moving up every month. Even with the price of gas going down, people are still riding buses and public transportation, so that's good for the air quality and the traffic. Thank you.
Robin? There's a little switch right there, magnifies your voice. Ted? Great. The only thing I have to report is on December 17th, we have the senior lunch, which Peggy's doing a great job setting it up. There'll be entertainment for seniors at the senior center. And December 7th, we have at 10 a.m. the 9th annual Pearl Harbor Remembrance Ceremony. We have 3 survivors left, and we've got people bringing in high school kids just to meet them from all over the Inland Empire. So it should be a really good event, flyovers and performers and entertainers, so hope to see you all there. Moving on to the item 2, the City Council consent items. Does anybody wish to pull something at this time?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request to pull item number 2C.
Anybody else? Do I hear a motion to approve the remaining items?
Approve the remainder.
Second.
Newton,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Grunmeyer, Bash.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Andy?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this item number 2C is a request from the City Council to send a letter to the Corona Norco Unified School District asking them to establish a Future Farmers of America program at Riverview Elementary School. In researching this particular item, staff did discover that FFM program is not offered at the junior high school level, and this was also confirmed by council member Robin Grommeyer. So with that, staff is going to be recommending a revision to the letter that is attached to the staff report. Instead of the recommendation asking for the establishment of a Future Farmers of America program at Riverview Elementary School, staff is recommending that that letter be modified to request that the Corona Unified School District Board to include agricultural education program for students with exceptional needs at the Riverview Elementary School. With that, I conclude my remarks and the changes that we are asking to be made today.
Yeah, I spoke with John Zigfoos today, and John Zigfoos says they're actually, they know they're going to put in a program somewhere, and they're pretty, at the moment, committed to Riverview. Maybe what we could do, Robin, is maybe you could assist on that letter, because I really would like to see that in the elementary schools, and they do have the land to do it, so maybe you could help with that. Do I hear a motion to approve that recommendation from the city manager and to have Robin assist in writing that letter? Second?
Newton, Hoffman,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Grunmeyer, Bash.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to public comments. You are all welcome to speak your mind. You have 3 minutes. I only have 2 cards on this issue. The first one is Pat Overstreet.
And Jeff Cahan is going to give my speech.
Okay. Jeff Cahan is going to give your speech. Come on up, Jeff.
Mr. Mayor, first thing I'd like to do is take a picture of the new council.
Jeff has nothing better to do.
Secondly, I'm here as the chairman of the Christmas Festival and Parade of Lights. Thank you very much for allowing us to change that name. I just wanted to remind you and the residents of Norco that we've got a great festival coming up on December 12th. We've got the Christmas festival that runs from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., starting at 9 a.m. with Breakfast with Santa up at Nellie Weaver Hall. We're going to have some live entertainment. There's a snow tot lot. We've got some great craft and food vendors coming up. We're going to have a petting zoo. The holiday train is back. And of course, the 11th annual Christmas Parade of Lights on 6th Street that this year will be starting at Corona, the new starting place, and it starts at 5 o'clock sharp. So I'd invite all of you to please come out, invite all the residents to come out and enjoy a wonderful way to end the year and to celebrate the Christmas season here in Norco. So thank you very much.
Anybody else wishing to speak under public comments? Seeing none, close. Moving on to legislative matters, 5A, ordinance number 997, second reading. John, is it yours? Nobody's? So I make a motion to move on. To vote. Do I hear a second?
Can I say under discussion first, or you want a second?
You just said there was no discussion.
Second.
Okay, now under discussion.
Just a question on this, that was given to us on striking the minimum allowed by statute statement.
After, you remember, we had discussed
Right,
about now
48
we weren't
hours
really
or-
sure whether there was a minimum statutory requirement. And after my research, the next day, there is not. And so it's 48 hours, which was your.
And that's the only change on,
Yes.
on this ordinance.
Any other discussion? I guess we can vote.
Newton. Kaufman.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Grunmeyer. Bash.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to 6A, appointment to the Planning Commission to fill Ted Hoffman's vacancy. Who has this?
Mayor, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, this is a consideration to make one appointment to the Planning Commission to fill one unscheduled vacancy. And as you're aware, Mr. Hoffman was a member of the Planning Commission. As a result of his election to the City Council, we received his letter of resignation on November 4th. Beginning November 9th, the City Clerk's Office began recruitment via public notice. It was a 2-week recruitment period, ending on November 23rd. During that 2-week period, the City Clerk's Office received 6 applications. Not working for me again this time. There we go. Okay, and in your staff report and on the screen there are the 6 applicants for this position. This appointment would take effect immediately. The term would take effect immediately and end June of 2019. I have notified the applicants that the council would be making an appointment this evening, and some or all may be present here to speak and or take questions from the City Council. And that concludes my report.
Okay, I have a card here, or unless somebody on council has something to say before we hear the card? No? Mr. Sullivan?
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations. I want to, at the meet and greet that we had at the Lions Club down for all the council candidates, I got up and spoke down there at that meeting, and I talked to all of you about it's very hard when you're sitting back there sometime to do the right thing. And you may look into the audience and maybe a friend of a friend there or one of your friends. But I challenge you tonight, I'm not going to speak in favor of anybody. Ted did a fine job on the Planning Commission. We got some projects coming up here later tonight as evidence of that, some great projects that he sit in on. The Planning Commission is a real important arm of this city, and they do a lot of legwork for the City Council. So you want to appoint somebody that's really going to take the job serious and knows what they're doing and can do that job to take a lot of the load off of you. Because when the project comes forward to you, you want to know as much about it, and that they've done their research and done as much as they can on it with the knowledge they have to do it each time they do it. So I would challenge you tonight to look at the applications and vote for somebody that's qualified to do it, and not for someone in the audience that you like or that's a friend of yours. One of the hardest things I had to do when I was sitting back there for 12 years is to look at someone back there that was a friend of mine or a friend of a friend, and vote for someone else because someone else is more qualified. So I challenge you to do the same thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harvey. Anybody else wishing to speak on this? How many of the applicants are here? 4. Do any of you wish to say a few words to council? Mike, we'll start with you.
Good evening, council, and congratulations to new council members. Having been a Norco resident for over 30 years, I've witnessed a lot of changes in our town. From one stoplight, no freeway, and there was cows stood on In-N-Out Burger Farm. But I had a career, I worked a night shift until my retirement in 2010. And I was never able to get involved in any of the growth that I witnessed in this town. And I've recently been appointed to the Streets, Trails, Utilities Commission, and I would love an opportunity to help shape the future of our town as a planning commission. And as I mentioned, with my past employment, I've never had an opportunity to have any involvement in the town's clubs, so I feel that I have no alliance or political affiliations with any of the groups. And I believe this allows me to have an open mind for the good of our community and the best for Norco to help move the town forward. And I would just love an opportunity to be on this commission. Thank you.
Scott?
Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for taking my application and resume into consideration. I was really excited about the opportunity to be a servant to the city and assisting with this commission, especially with my background in architecture and structural drafting and being a real estate broker and business owner in this community. I really love Norco, and I really was excited about the opportunity to go do this. During the interviews and those conversations, I learned that there could potentially be a seat open in another community that I would be really excited to serve on as well, perhaps even more so. So at this time, I'm actually going to respectfully request that my resume be withdrawn so that I can be available to apply for the other position should it come available.
That's great. Thanks, Scott. Thanks a lot. Mr. Paulson?
Well, good evening again to you all. I've been a resident for nearly 40 years in Norco. Been around, seen a lot of changes. I have a lot of opinions, but we won't go into opinions. But I do have a planning background. I was a planner with Hughes Aircraft Company in Fullerton for 3 years, as well as about 45 years of plumbing experience. So I have seen maintenance, construction, repair, and all different things like that. And I think I could bring a lot of good insight as a citizen and a commissioner, if you would have me. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Azevedo?
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, and congratulations to the new ones out there. And I think it made history tonight. 3 Norco graduates from the Norco High on the City Council, so his history has been made tonight. My name's Danny Azevedo again. I've lived here for 52 years. Since I've lived here, I've done, throughout my life here, have done multiple things for the city. Because I was an electrical contractor, I did consuming a lot of work that they would let me do for free. And so it was involved with the city quite a bit. And then through all my years, I've known just about every city council person and a lot of the planners, planning commissions, and everybody on it. And I've always thought later on in my life that I'd want to get involved with city politics. Well, my wife beat me to it, so I had to wait another 12 years to be able to get my chance to be able to put an application in to be able to satisfy what I've always wanted to do. Here tonight, thank you very much for looking at my application. I think I'm very qualified. I've been a contractor myself with electrical, and my past 4 years now I'm an inspector, combination inspector of the city. I work with planning, and I think my references and that you've seen, I hope that would get me in the position, and I think I would be an asset to the city, and I would appreciate the honor to be able to give back to Norco and to help them out. And like I said, I've been here for 52 years. I've seen this town grow, and I want to keep it growing in the way it's going. And so I hope I'm an asset, and I'm willing to work with all of you. Thank you very much for your time.
Willie Sherman let me know that he's actually out on the road, otherwise he would have been here. And Kevin Cock has actually pulled his name. He said right now business is just too much. He can't really fulfill the obligation of Planning Commission. So that leaves us really with 1, 2, 3, 5 applicants, given Mr. DeRosa's wanting to look at another position. So do I have any comments from the council? Anybody want to say anything? Yeah, please.
Find out first, please.
Let's see. Very interesting. I tried to be something on.
If someone else has another comment.
Somebody else have another comment? He was blown away by, because he's our manure to energy guy, and I think he was just blown away by the kids knowing so much more. You know, you need to take a class with them.
I found it.
I'm teasing.
I wanted to try something different this time, having been appointed to the Planning Commission for 3 terms, and it was after reviewing all the applications and that all of them are extremely well qualified, I needed a tiebreaker. And this was a question that Planning Commission wrestled with in the past, will wrestle with in the present, and will always wrestle in the future. So I'm just going to give you the question, and then you guys make all your own answers however you want. But this is how I based my decision. Outside of that, thank you for applying. In your own words, as a planning commissioner with regulatory powers, what is your understanding of the difference between public interests and property rights? And food for thought, but that is a major part of the Planning Commission's work. That's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Ted?
Being as that was my seat that was vacant, so I've taken to heart in the selection process. And I'll reiterate what Greg said. They're very good candidates, and I'm glad that we have a lot of good people that have come up to. I've seen some of those faces at the Planning Commission meetings in the past, and we always welcome anybody that wants to see what goes on in planning. And in the 4 years I've been there, it is a tough position, and it is, you have to put away your personal and look out what's best for the city. And when you make your decision, who goes in there. Right now, it's a very cohesive board, and they work really good together with the various backgrounds. So I always look at somebody to replace me as someone that's going to work with the current board and make sure that, again, they put the city first and not their personal preferences. Thank you.
Berwin, anything? Robin?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for turning in their applications and applying for the job. It is a tough decision. You got quite a bit of talent. But everybody that applied, thanks again.
And I say what I generally say is that I served 10 years on the Park and Rec Commission and did get selected the first 3 times. I finally beat out Danny Azevedo. And I served on another commission. I formed that, so that was good. But just keep trying. A lot of times the decision is really based on, for me, just who is going to fit or what is already on that commission. So with that said, I think we're ready to vote. How do you want to proceed?
Mayor, I did distribute ballots to each council member. If you could please vote for one, and then sign and put your name on the ballot and return it to me.
This should be interesting.
That's in case we screw up.
Two guys backed out. Exactly. 17.5% chance to a 25% chance. It's 25. There you go. You're 1-4. You got a good shot. Those are good odds for the Vegas one. Yeah, that's a Vegas question. Yeah. Just remember everything we're doing in the city. Heck yeah, we look at our program.
You know the sound makes. You know the sound it makes when you put your hand and make a fist and then you pull it out real fast.
Yeah,
We'll see, because Kevin said he was going to back me. Yeah.
You got a good shot. You're a big guy here, right? Got a good chance to win. Got experience.
Okay, Honorable Mayor and City Council members, it's a unanimous vote for Mr. Danny Azevedo.
I remind you, there are lots of other things to do in the city of Norco, a lot of things. Moving on to 7A, I turn it over to Steve Kingman.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the City Council. This is a project that's proposing a 113,331 square foot commercial center at the intersection of Corydon Street and River Road. The project itself requires approval of The project itself requires approval of several aspects of it. The first being the site plan, which is the approval for the entire shopping center. There are 3 conditional use permits that go with it. One is for the service of alcohol. Another is for the development of a service station, and the third is for the inclusion of drive-throughs on 4 of the buildings. This is the site plan that is being proposed. The Planning Commission has approved the site plan. So I was hoping it was a little red picture, but the major tenant is a grocery store, which is at the bottom of the exhibit. That's the big box. The second major tenant is a drugstore that's located at the corner of Corydon Street and River Road. The gas station, when it was approved by the Planning Commission, it was at the northwest corner, actually probably the southwest corner if you go by True North Arrow. On the west side of the Sundance Lane driveway and River Road. Since that time, the developers proposed to flip the location of that gas station to the other side of the Sundance Lane driveway, away from the residences along that side of the property. And this is the site plan that's being proposed to you now, not the one that was approved by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did approve the site plan. They did approve the 3 conditional use permits. There is also a proposed variance.
Right behind my house.
There is a proposed variance to reduce the rear yard setback
They moved it across from my house.
For the major
Across the
A
street.
building, the
Across the road.
requirement in the.
Where was it? It was gonna be over here, but on the
CG
side.
zone is a 50-foot setback requirement for the building. Because the applicant is including an equestrian trail for the center
Just River Road.
that is not on the city's trail,
So we're,
master trail
my back
plan.
yard is right across the River Road.
And because of the requirement for the major tenant to have a certain number of parking stalls in the front of it to make it work for this site, they were not able to meet that setback requirement. So the variance that was approved by the planning commission would reduce the setback requirement from 50 feet to 40 feet. It had been reported in the planning commission that the setback reduction was to 38 feet. However, it actually is 40 feet. There is an additional 2 feet that's been gained as a result of engineering revisions to the title report, or actually engineering, not revisions, but better research into the title. It's closer than it was before. So as I indicated, the site plan was approved by the planning commission. They did approve the 3 conditional use permits. They did approve the variance. And they did approve the sign program for the shopping center. The project includes a tentative parcel map, and on that it requires action by the city council, and so they did recommend approval of the parcel map to the city council. The approvals that I've already mentioned were all appealed by the city council at their last meeting, or in November. And because of that, it's all been brought forward for consideration by the city council. In its approval, the planning commission did add conditions of approval, and they've all been included in the attached resolutions. The first one being that there be horse trail crossings on River Road, Sundance Lane, and Cordon Avenue, and that they be marked with stamped asphalt and in-street crossing LED lighting. They added the condition that deliveries from tractor-trailer vehicles be limited to the hours between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Is that up the corridor?
They added the condition that a proposed 15-foot pylon sign on Cordon Street be eliminated, and a condition that no wall signage is permitted along any building face that's adjacent to a residential zone and does not front onto a public street. They added the condition that drive-through speakers be oriented away from the streets, adjacent streets, and that all structures meet the minimum 50-foot building setback with the exception of the major A building for which the variance was approved by the planning commission and has since been approved by the city council. If I could make the slide presentation work, I'd show you the architecture. But the oh, there it is. Okay. So this is the architecture that has been approved by the Planning Commission. It was recommended for approval by the Architectural Review Subcommittee. It incorporates many elements that the city encourages with its commercial projects to reflect the Western and Western theme of the city. Also including the equestrian trail along the front of it, which is not part of the city's trail program. Okay, this is the variance that I was mentioning. This is where the building setback is being proposed to be reduced from 50 feet to 40 feet. And what the applicant is proposing to do with that is, and the project's been conditioned for it, is to install more dense foliage that grows quicker so that it can provide the additional height, which you see on the bottom exhibit on the right. After 3 years of growth, it'll hide the building faces on the rear side of the building. And the project is conditioned to go back to the Architectural Review Subcommittee for the 2-story office building and for the architectural treatments to the rear faces of the buildings, And that condition is being recommended to be changed so that the second-story windows on the two-story office building be eliminated on the rear side of the building that faces into the residential neighborhood.
I like that.
With the trail that's being proposed along River Road, there will not be a sidewalk because our trails do serve as both pedestrian and equestrian connections. And as I indicated, there would be crossings for the trail, from the trail at Sundance Lane and at Corridon Avenue. And that will, in addition to providing the design theme or helping establish the design theme of the center, it provides access to the residents that live on Trail and Bluff further down River Road to get into the city's main trail system, which they currently don't have right now. The site has been designed to provide more than its required amount of parking based on the buildings as designated with the two main anchors, a potential of 4 restaurants with drive-throughs, and the office building. The required parking is 529. The applicant has included more parking with the potential to allow more restaurants to be within the retail sites that have been proposed. And with that, the required parking is 617, and the site itself is being designed with 648. So they have more than enough parking per the Norco Municipal Code. The last thing I want to mention is you have, prior to the meeting, I distributed a memorandum with changes that are being proposed. These are the result of discussions that I've had with council members this past week and suggestions that they've recommended should be included. The first one is that there would be 2 speed humps installed in the residential neighborhood across the street. The first one being on Sundance Lane as it approaches River Road, and the second one being on Del Mar Road as it approaches Corridon Avenue. There's also recommended that a condition be added that speed control devices be installed on the rear of the shopping center adjacent to those homes in Corona Avenue on Edison Drive. And those will be installed prior to, well, the location of them and the design of them will be approved prior to the issuance of the building permit and will be approved by the fire department and sheriff's department. And the location and number of those in consultation with the developer. And then the last condition that we want to add is that prior to the issuance of building permit, the location of the pump islands for the gas station and the canopy be revised or reconfigured with input from staff and the developer once the tenant of the gas station is determined, and so that there's enough room to allow for truck trailer access around in and around the pumps to get into the gas station and out of it easily and out of the shopping center. Then the last thing is the parcel map that was included with the staff report reflected the site plan that was approved by the Planning Commission, but since they have relocated the gas station, they needed to submit the revised site plan, or the revised parcel map, and that's what was handed out with the memorandum tonight. It's basically the same thing, but the lot sizes are configured differently, and the sizes are different, but all of the lots meet the minimum requirement of the CG zone. So with that, in summary, the Planning Commission did approve the site plan. They did approve the conditional use permits, the variance, and the master sign program for the project, and those decisions were approved by the City Council. And the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the parcel map, which requires action by the City Council. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation and answer any questions.
I'll start with council. We have quite a few cards on this. Mr. Hanna, anything you want to say at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, Steve, I talked to you yesterday about accessing for trucks and trailers into the gas station there, and you said we'd remove that landscape on the, I guess that'd be the north side of the parking area of buildings, and then they could drive all the way around the back of the gas station and come out onto the driveway to go right or left to exit. So that's going to be taken care of, remove those two barriers.
I did talk to the developer, the proposed developer of the project, and he indicated that because of equipment that's going to have to be located back there, he doesn't think there will be enough radius to allow safe turning of vehicles or trailers around there. So that's why the condition was written the way it was, that ultimately when the gas station tenant is determined, they will have to come in and work with staff with the turning radius template to make sure that trucks and trailers will be able to get in and around the pump islands. But they said it would not be possible to take it around the back side of the building because there wouldn't be enough room.
Well, looking at this, you have 25 feet from the edge of the pump island to the edge of the parking place. I guess that's the edge of the parking place. Is that correct? Or does that include the parking spot that's up next to the building?
It does include 1.5 parking places, probably one straight back from the pump island.
Because that's going to make it awful tight to pull in there and then exit out without taking off the gas pump when they leave out. So, trailer, don't make any difference what size the trailer it is. You've got to have a lot of turning room there to get out of those places. And the way people jam the gas stations, everything, you're always going to get blocked by a car where you can't just have easy access. So I think they need to reconsider what they put in behind that building over there to make it access to go in and out. Because you're going to have people that, if they have a diesel pump, you're going to have people that want to buy fuel in there, and they make sure they need room to get in and out without having a bunch of problems, or they'll lose business on it.
The applicant is here and can address it. The one thing that he did suggest when I spoke with him about this is the possibility of moving the canopy and the pump islands closer to the driveway to allow more movement between the canopy and the convenience store itself. He indicated there's ways to do it. He just didn't think there'd be enough room around the back of the building because of needed equipment that's got to go back there related to the building.
Well, that would make more sense to move them back closer to the, on that end of it, you've got 50 feet, almost 51 feet between where you pull in before you get to the first pump versus the 25 up on the top end up there. So I think that if that's possible, I'd like to see that happen, take into consideration. Because like I said, some people will go to turn out of there and they'll be too short and they'll jerk a gas pump out and then you've got an explosion and a big mess. So, thank you.
Robin?
I'm going to go ahead and wait until after we hear the cards, please.
Okay.
Since I sit on some planning commission, only thing, Steve, and I don't, just to be clarification, on River Road, that's going to be 4 lanes, right? 2 north, 2 south. And did we get the traffic engineer to determine what our speed was going to be on that roadway at this time?
I don't know what the speed